Shem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, the elders in Connecticut, all you brothers, you priests, you Akim and the four winds preaching the truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. You sisters, you Akwafim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and silence. Yeah, this your brother Ram Yahawad with the lesson. We got this big issue and then popped up. They, constantly stealing from Africa, and, these are things that these devils are always done. So let's go ahead.
That's non-oil experts. We'll get back to it in a couple of minutes. But first of all, let's talk about this burning issue of oil theft. And we've seen a lot of revelations in the last couple of days in the media. We've been awash. We've had a correspondent do some rounds in those areas with the NNPC Limited and those security forces or agents privately owned that have been employed to do that. We've heard stories of arrests of members of suspected crude syndicates. We've seen discovery of illegal pipelines and other issues. But which the NNPC Limited says the country loses to oil theft. Well, to help us understand, at least we need somebody who knows some of those intricacies in there is Mr. Dakuku Peterside, former Director General of Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA. Good morning, Mr. Peterside. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Now, she's gonna bring this guy on, but he was the former. So who knows if this guy wasn't part of allowing that? Because how do you build pipeline underground to steal oil and no one knows? I mean, you're talking miles and miles of. How did it popped up out of nowhere and it dug up under the ground? I mean, someone knew and someone seen something. Someone paid for that, and somebody got paid to allow them to do that.
So I'm sure you've been following the media. You've seen the stories, you've seen the arrests, you've seen the allegations, you've seen the pipelines, the one that's been existing for 9 years or more. First of all, are you shocked with these revelations?
In the next 60 seconds, you recall that this issue of crude oil theft has been on for quite some time. I know it's been on for not less than 20 years. But what we're talking about now is the intensity and the degree. The volume of oil we are losing of late is embarrassing. NNPC and other stakeholders have put it between 200,000 barrels per day and 200 and 400,000 barrels per day. And that is totally unacceptable. That has had serious impact on our economy and particularly in the area of investment. You have seen that a number of oil majors are selling off their assets, especially their not deep land and offshore assets. You've also noticed that even the marginal fuel, the guys who got marginal fuels are refusing to develop it or make substantial investment. In fact, most investors have lost confidence in the Nigerian oil and gas space. They are challenged in all dimensions. You've also seen the fact that new investments are not coming in. These are all consequences or
corroborated. But then I mean, for someone like me, I'm kind of skeptical, because then what should we do with all of this information that's coming out in the open to ensure that in the next 5 years we don't come back and say, oh, this pipeline has been used for oil theft, has been used for 5 years or so? What should we be doing with this information?
Well, thank God for the revelations, and thank God for a new approach. For me, it's a cocktail of solutions. One is the fact that it's inevitable that at some point there will have to be military actions. That has failed in the past because of compromise at various levels of our military. Now, the other thing is the fact that we must put stringent laws in place to punish those who are caught in the act, or those who get involved in crude oil stealing. Then there's also the policy dimension. But most importantly, some other dimension to it is that as a nation, we need to declare an emergency in this area. Devote more than enough time to deal with it. I've talked about military operation. I've talked about putting stringent laws in place. I've talked about deployment of technology to monitor oil and gas from the point of production to the various terminals, including surveillance of pipelines. So there are multiple options. We need to look at what did other nations do to tackle the issue of oil theft. But there's also another dimension that, look, even the guys who are involved in weather operation and regulation, there's some level of complicity. We need to investigate that and find out if there is any truth in it. This is crippling our economy. It's something that we need to apply everything at our disposal. It's not something we can continue to neglect. It's not something we can continue to. We need to treat it as a major national economic challenge, and if possible, economic sabotage, and it requires severe punishment. So I think that these are some of my thoughts on how to tackle crude oil theft. But again, we need to rely heavily on technology.
Yeah, but Mr. Peterson, I think that maybe what makes us different from other countries who may have faced a similar situation is the talks of people in places of authority being involved. We heard stories of how officers would, even pay some money to their superiors to be sent to those areas because they've been seen as being lucrative. And those people in authority may also be benefiting from it. So where is the willpower to actually fight it if it's being beneficial to a handful of people?
Well, I had mentioned that clearly from inception, that the most important thing we need to fight crude oil theft is the political will. Now, the political will comes in different dimensions. I had also mentioned military action is inevitable.
Yeah. So, Reuters, this is Shells investigates in which they're actually being investigated in Nigeria after a report of 9-year oil theft, right? Because Shell was basically stealing the oil, and the other guy who's speaking, who used to be some type of official there, he comes out of his mouth, like I was saying, he said something about, well, I know it's under 20, so why did you say 20 years? So this probably, like I said, this dude, he knows. Most of these people are into the take. Those leaders, right? Because the Lord said that our leaders calls us to error, right? Says the Royal Dutch Shell's logo. Oh, see, the Dutch. The Dutch had much to do with the oppression and the slaughtering of the Israelites, man. Of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, and you Israelites around the world, right? Says October 12th, Reuters oil, major shales, Nigerian sub is investigating and reports that an illegal oil tap ran for 9 years on a pipeline. Its operations, a spokesman said on Wednesday. Okay, well, you know, there you go. This one is Bloomberg, right? The market says Shell's probes Nigeria claims of illegal pipeline to ocean platform. Authorities allege illegal connection run to offshore facility, right? And you could better believe that these people was stealing it, but they're gonna find some type of way, because they got all this major money, and somehow they're gonna walk away unscathed, right? Yeah. So this is Isaiah chapter 9 verse 16. For the leaders of this people, right? And a lot of those Nigerians are Israelites, man. Right? I mean, there might be some Hamites somewhere in there, but for the most part, we know that those Nigerians are Israelites, right? So these are talking about the Israelites. For your leaders, for the leaders of this people, right, or which are the Israelites, cause them to err, right, to go wrong, right, or to end up being broke. You know what I mean? With all the freaking gas prices as Shell and all these other oil companies, they got the gas prices at $5, $6, $7 some places probably. You know, dang near $7 some places, right? And they were stealing it. And then you go around the world stealing it. So you basically, you stole it, you could sell it a lot cheaper, but hey, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna make our lives easier. You only got more money than you could spend. But why not make us spend more money? Why not cause misery to the world, right? Because you're unjust, man. That's just ultimately what it is. And then a lot of our own people be in cahoots with this. Like I was saying, the dude that the lady was talking to, I'm very suspicious about that dude. Even the lady said she's suspicious about the whole thing. When you get another leader, you know, is they not going to be in cahoots with all this whole thing? You know? It says, and they that are led of them are destroyed, man. And that's ultimately what ends up happening. Matter of fact, it says, let's go back up to 15. 15 says, the ancient and the honorable, right? So a lot of times you look to your elders for wisdom, and you look to these so-called leaders or presidents. You know, they graduated from these type of schools, these prestigious things, because they're supposed to be so-called smart. You think, okay, well, this guy's pretty smart. He's supposed to be our people. I'm pretty sure he wants us to go in the right direction, right? Wrong. You know, he wants to fill his own pockets. You know, the honorable, the one who so-called went to war or blah, 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 and it looked like he was some war hero or he did it, but so on and so forth. At the end of the day, a lot of them be into these, you know, go back into the small hats, man. They be in their pockets, man. Right? He is the head of the, he is the head and the prophets, right? So, you know, they're dealing with you're dealing with the same beast, right? One's the head and the prophet that teacheth lies. He is the tail, man. You're dealing with the same New World Order beast system even within your own people, right? Because they tell you that they're like a dragon with many heads, right? And if you cut off the head of this dragon, they tell you when it comes to the Masons or the Illuminati or the Masons that two more will grow in its place, because they're one beast with many tongues, right? So that's ultimately what it is, man. Yeah, so this is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So obviously the whole world is in mourning, right? You're mourning at the gas pumps, but even further than that, there's places where a large amount of people are starving or dying. You got the war in Ukraine. You got, you know, all these so-called mass shootings and all these different things. You got places turning into the purge around the world. You got Mississippi River drying up. You got the Euphrates River drying up. You got the Lake Mead drying up. So you got water drying up all over the place, and it's going to be more mourning, more famine, more death, more pestilence under the rule, the wicked bearing rule, right? The people are mourning, man. It is nothing but a mournful thing, man. Yeah, so this is that same verse in the NIV. It says Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous thrive, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people groan, man. The whole world is groaning, man. Right? Tells you that in the scriptures. The whole world groaneth. Right? Even the animals, the trees, the whole earth is groaning. So let's look into that word thrive, right? Because it said when the righteous are thriving. So thrive of a child, animal, or plant, right? And that's what we have in the world, and in this world, that's what's groaning. A child is groaning because there's no food to eat. The animals are groaning because there's no food to eat or water to drink. The plants are groaning because there's no water and no food to eat. The whole earth is groaning. The whole earth is in anguish, right? The whole earth is languishing. It says, but when you thrive, when the righteous are thriving, growth or develop well, vigorously, man. It's gonna be greatly when the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and when the kingdom of heaven is at hand, right? The brothers are growing spiritually and very, very strong, vehemently, right? Very strong, right? But then the kingdom of heaven is going to be even greater, man. Right? The brother did a lesson about how there's the Lord is making a river in the Arabian, man, in the middle of the desert, like the scriptures say, the Isaiah 11, man. So things are turning, man. But first, what the earth has to groan, man, because the wicked is in rule, bearing rule. Okay. Yeah, it just started raining. It says Ecclesiastes 7:7. surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, right? And ultimately, that's pretty much what the news lady was saying. Well, what are we to do when someone else gets in there and they're corrupt? So, but you know, the whole thing about Israel is we're not mad enough, man. We're not mad enough. We're not angry or disappointed in the things and the conditions and the ways that we have to live, man. Right? Ultimately, depression or anger will cause you to search for the Lord. Right? Matter of fact, you know what I mean? Let's go into that real quick. Right. So this is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16. Thus saith Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, you know, through his son Yahweh Shai, who he delivers, right? Because he's our deliverer. Stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths, right? Because ultimately that's what we're supposed to be doing. A lot of us don't know the things that happened before we got to America, and then that being Africa, a lot of those don't know what happened before they got to Africa. They don't know. Some of them don't really practice or don't know that they're Israelites, man. And some of those elders do. There's books, there's all sorts of things, but this is how you get tricked into the whole thing of voting, and then you're getting sucked into the ways of the devil, you know, of the ruler of this world right now, right? The prince of the air, man, because he's the ruler of this world right now. Satan, which is your adversary, the self-proclaimed so-called white man, which is Esau, Edom, the international bankers get a hold of your thing, and now you owe them money, or now you're in with them, and because how did they get the pipes there in the first place? You mean 9 years and somebody barely? I guess I'll just bump into the. So somebody accidentally bumped into this, man. But it was really of the spirit of the power of Yahweh Shemel Shai to show you how wicked these people are. The prices are going up and up and up, and that's the same gas they turn around and sell you at goddamn $5 to $7 a gallon, man. Some shit they done stole. You know? But you're supposed to be mad enough. This is surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, man. And that madness should not get you to go fight nobody, but it should get you to what? To find the old paths, man, the old way. Where is the good way of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the law, statutes, commandments, man, right? And his son, right? Which is Yahweh Shai. And walk therein, man. You know what I'm saying? Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest. See, the Lord, he wants to give you rest. But what? For your soul. But they said, we will not walk therein. See, and ultimately, that's what we know. We know 2/3 of the Lord's people are gonna perish because you don't want to walk therein, man. It's just simple and plain. You don't want to do it, and the Lord's giving you like the brothers keep saying. I keep hearing them say the cheat code. This is the cheat code, man. Right? You ever know was it the little tunnel when it had Super Mario Brother? There was a tunnel, and you had to find it. But if you found this tunnel, you could go through that tunnel and then jump all the way to the other part of the game. So you didn't have to play the whole thing to get to the princess. You could go through a tunnel and they'll pop you out at another part where you could. It makes it easier for you to get to the princess and conquer the King Cooper, right? And ultimately, that's what this is. This Satan. The self-proclaimed so-called white man is like King Cooper, man. Right? Your circumstances, your money issues, all your different issues are just like King Cooper, man. You got to have faith, man. And you got to be angry enough to walk therein, man. Yeah, right here it says, Jeremiah 6:17, also I set watchmen over you, right? Right, to guide you. Saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. And the trumpet is what we're giving out a warning, man. The sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. So we're warning you, and we're trying to tell you how you can find rest, but you don't want to hearken. Right. So this is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20. And though Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, gave you the bread of adversity, right? Because we've been going through all sorts of different tribulations, and allowing the so-called white man, right? Because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? Allowing the so-called white man to rule, right? That's gave us adversity, right? And the water of affliction, right? You know, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thy eyes shall see your teachers. Man, we're blowing the trumpet, man. Right? We're warning you. See, and you ask for the old way in your anger, right? The Lord said you will find rest, man. Right? Your water of affliction, your the life, because you know there's nutrients in water, man. You could probably go days without eating, but you can't go a long time without water. But in your way of finding this water, this knowledge, you were afflicted along the path. But in that affliction, you got angry. And in that anger, what allowed you to ask for the old way, man? So now that you know that you're an Israelite, now you can find what? Rest. It says, Ecclesiastes 7:7, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. And that's really ultimately the point I was trying to pull out of this, right? Because these people, a gift will destroy their heart, man. Better is the end of a thing, right? Because now that you're angry and you look to find the old paths, man, it's going to be better. Is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, right? Because even though the Lord gave you the bread of affliction, right? He said your teacher shall not be removed in a corner anymore. So it's better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And the patient in spirit, right? See, because ultimately you had to go through something. Patience, Apostle always going to, basically means to be afflicted, man. When you go to a hospital, a patient is there because they're hurt or sick. They're in pain. You're suffering. So that you had to suffer in the spirit, man. You got to suffer in the spirit. Is better than the proud in spirit, man. Though you had to suffer in the spirit, man, it's better than those that are proud in their spirit, man. Right? So this is Proverbs 11:9, right? Because you got all these false leaders, all these different so-called pastors, preachers, these people who say that they got your best interests because they grew up in the neighborhoods you grew up in, and so on and so forth. But, you know, they're actually lining their own pockets, you know. And hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, right? Because what? A gift destroyeth the heart, right? And as that gift destroyeth the heart, he uses the hypocrisy to destroy his own brother, man. Destroy his own neighbor, right? But But through knowledge, right? Because knowledge, through the knowledge, what? It makes you angry. Surely, right? Oppression maketh the wise man mad. When you realize you're a slave, you're a bond slaveman, that your birth certificate puts you on a slave, your driver license puts you on being a slave, right? That you're not actually free, right? They give you a delusion of home on the free. If you were really free, you should be able to just jump on a plane, jump on a boat without having to have a passport, without having to have someone tap in. But instead, they're monitoring your phones. They're monitoring everything you do, man. That's not what happened to free people, man. Right? And when you realize you're not free until you get the spiritual bodies, until Yahushua comes, which is sure to come and is shortly to come, right? Because what? World War III is at hand. So who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ is sure to come. Why? Because what? The MOTB is around the corner, right? The Lord destroying the wicked is around the corner, right? Where righteousness shall prevail. It's right around the corner. But through knowledge, right, shall the just be delivered. And that's how you're going to be delivered. Knowing that your so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are Israelites. Knowing that the MOTB is, if you take it, there ain't no forgiveness for that. There ain't no, you could take it out. Somebody might put it in you. And if they put it in you, shouldn't you be saved? Nah, you're going to, look, if they put it in you, then you weren't the elect, right? That's all it is. The Lord said He want unblemished, without wrinkle, without spot, right? You can't be taking jump shots and the MOTB and think you could be without wrinkle or blemish, right? It says though hand joining hand, right? So you could act like you're for the people and about the people, and really join hands with these French, French German people or whatever they are, right? And sell out your people so you can make a little bit of money, you know what I mean? While they're hiking up gas prices and fuel prices everywhere, but yet they're stealing it, right? If you're stealing it, you should at least give, half off or something. I don't know. You should give a better deal since you're stealing it, right? Though hand joining hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, and only a wicked person would do that, man. You would steal it and then sell it for triple or double, or maybe even 4 times the price, even after you stole it. But the seed of the righteous, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, and you Israelites around the world, you Israelites who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel, right? Shall be saved, man. Right? This is James chapter 5, verse 1. Go to now, ye rich men, right? So go to your bunkers, your $1 million bunkers, go and hide, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the time that the Lord is going to put the world into an end, right? Weep and howl for your misery, man, because the Lord is going to the Lord is already putting misery upon the world, but it's going to be so much misery it's going to put upon you because you love to make money so much, and you love to make people. Matter of fact, let me get to that, and I'll come back to this. So let's go to this real quick, and we'll go back to James 5 after this, because this is what these rich, you know, Edomites, which are self-proclaimed so-called white people, when you know the Bilderbergs, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Oppenheimers, the Rothschilds, man. Period. That's who they are. These international bankers, right? The people who rule the whole world and claim to be the people of the book, man. But that's not what the Lord said. You can't say you could tell that you were Levi all the way back to Moses, but the Lord said that we would discontinue from our heritage, man. It don't make sense, right? But this makes sense for who you are, man. As for they, right? Since this, Proverbs 4:16, for they sleep not, man, because ultimately that's what it is. These elite can't fall asleep. They cannot sleep except they have done mischief, man. And ultimately that's what it is. This whole was it pandemic or pandemic, however you want to call it, right? What side you want to believe, right? Because this is a thing of truth. Hey, Cat Williams said it. This thing is a war, and the war is between truth and the lie. Whatever you want to believe in, that's what you're going to believe in. But ultimately, those who believe in the lie are going to be destroyed, man. Those of you, especially of you Israelites, because none of you other nations can be saved. But if you Israelites, if you don't believe this, you shall be destroyed. Even the Lord says it. He says, if you do not believe in this, you're condemned already. What do condemn mean? It means you're judged. And your judgment, it ain't going to be good, man. But for the elite, for they sleep not, except they have done some mischief. And mischief is what? Wickedness, man. Right? The New World Order is wickedness, man. To put the MOTB in you, which is the CHIP, right, is a wicked thing, man. The CHIP, man. If you understand, man. And they sleep is taken away unless they cannot sleep, unless they sleep is completely taken away, unless they cause someone to fall. And who are they mostly causing to fall? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, man. Right? You know? You don't get it, man. You would say this guy's your friend, man. He done raped, robbed, murdered you again and again and again. And then here you are in the hoods, the ghettos, the barrios, the reservations. And you don't ask yourself, wait, how the hell did we get here? And why is it that we're spinning wheels and we can't get out? Why they put a few token black people or few token so-called Hispanic people who got money, but all of us can't get out? And with all those people who got all that money, why haven't they came together and actually built some things to get us out of here? No, they just talk about guns and drugs and this and that, and you know, and then even going to that LGBT lifestyle, man. That's all, which is destruction, man. Right? Calls us to fall. It's going to the Hebrew word for fall.
Strong's H 3782. Kashal. Kashal.
Kashal. Kashal. I think it's Kashal. Kashal. To stumble. Stagger. Stumble. Cause to stumble. Oh, wait, right here. Overthrow, right? And ultimately, ain't that what they did to you, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Indians? To make feeble and weak, right? Don't they control the so-called school system? The full system? Right? They don't teach you a thing. They don't teach you they don't even really teach you how to balance a checkbook. This whole country is ran by the stock market. Why do you average everyday Americans don't know how to read the stock market. Your whole life depends on what happens in the stock market, and you don't even know what it says. You ain't ever asked yourself that? See, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, man. You should be angry. Something should be going off in your mind, man. See, when the Twin Towers went down, all you people went out and tried to find God. But when everything so-called went back to normal, all you forgot about God. This whole thing with the CV-19, the Icky Vicky, when this thing went down, a lot of you people went out and bought Bibles. Literally, they said there was not a Bible on the shelf when the so-called lockdowns went down because of the CV-19. Right? All the Bibles are off the shelf. Now where you at? You're all the way back, and we ain't even out of it. They still talking about the CV-19, and you're about to go on the Third World War. So where's your faith? Where's you believers at, man? Man, y'all full of, man. You know what I mean? To be mad, see, you should be mad, but you're mad in a different way, because mad also means crazy, right? You could be mad as far as being upset, or you could be mad as far as freaking crazy out of your mind, right? You know? So let's get back right here. It says James 5:1, go now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Why? Because at one point in time, you can't sleep unless you cause someone to fall, unless you cause someone to be overthrown. And you'll go to a place like Nigeria and basically overthrow the government, put somebody, a puppet in there, and then you in there secretly stealing oil, jacking up prices everywhere else, saying you don't know what's going on and how this all happened. Oh, it's Russia's fault that the gas prices are high. Well, you're stealing oil. You're getting it for free. So what would that have to do with Russia? Right? So you so-called black Hispanic, you ain't mad enough, man. And I'm talking about mad as being angry, frustrated, fed up. Not mad as crazy, without your members with loose screws, because that's ultimately all you are. You're a bunch of loose screws. You don't got it all together, man. You're a taco short of a combination plate, man. That's all it is, man. You don't got it all. Right? For riches are corrupted, man. And ultimately, the riches of this world are all corrupted, man, because it's all blood money. Even in the scriptures, it told you that. When they tried to give back, when what's his name, Judas Iscariot tried to give back the money that he got for Yahushai's death, they said we cannot put this money in with the treasure because this is blood money. So they knew they couldn't put it in the treasure with all the other treasures. But what did the so-called white man do? All that money that's in the treasury of the United States is all blood money, man. He done murdered the Native Americans, murdered the so-called Mexicans, murdered the so-called Negro. And that money's in his treasury, in his circulation, all this other things, man. Murdered for the gold and the silver and the diamonds and the uranium and what else? The platinum, the oil. You murder for that, man. It says your riches are corrupted, your garments, right? Which dealing with your philosophy, right? Your understanding. Your garments, your the thing that's supposed to cover you. Your garment, which is your NWO, right? Or moth eaten, man. It's holes through the whole entire thing. That's why your tongues are falling upon yourselves. That's why the Irish guy said, "You rushed it." You rushed it, man. Hey, Man, you got but a short time, and you rush your things, so there's holes in your garment, man. There's holes all through your whole system, man. Your gold and your silver is cankered, right? And basically this deals with corruption, right? Right? Ultimately your thing is falling apart. Everything is actually the rug is being swept off from underneath your feet, but you don't even know it yet. Right? That's ultimately what the Lord is saying. Because gold don't get rust or anything on it. It says that, yeah, your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. What's the witness against you? All your corruption, all your things, your blood money, man. Woe to the bloody city, man. Right? And that's ultimately what you are. You're the bloody city. Shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. What fire is it going to be? The ICBM missiles, man. The ICBM missiles are going to turn America into the lake of fire, man. The things that people thought was hell, it's not going to be hell. It's going to be hell on earth. Hell is going to be on earth. It ain't going to be under the ground. It's going to be 200 million missiles, because each one of those missiles, those ICBM missiles, have 8 to 10 warheads in them. And those warheads are made with the atoms that created life. And it's going to destroy life. So what do you think about that, man? Huh? As it were fire, ye have heaped, this is the point I'm trying to make right here. Ye have heaped up treasures together for the last days, man. And ultimately what? You're heaping up treasure for the last day for what? For the elect. Right? Yeah, so this is Proverbs chapter 13, verse 21. Evil pursueth the sinner, right? So ultimately what? The ICBM missiles, you got to go into your bunkers. The so-called NWO never actually continues forever like you wanted to. It's gonna look like, damn, we got everything. It's right where you need it, and that's when it's gonna be swept off from underneath your foot, man. But what? But the righteous good shall be repaid. Hey, and ultimately, you've been heaping up those treasures for the last days to what? To repay the elect, man. Repay the nation of Israel, man. Starting with the elect, right? A good man layeth an inheritance, leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, right? And guess who those children's children are? Man, the elect, man. The elect are the children of the Most High, and their children is going to inherit the kingdom of heaven, which is the earth, man. And all the treasures that you have heaped up, man. Right? So it says, and you know, yeah, and the wealth of the sinner, and that's what you're doing. You're heaping up treasures for the last days, and all your wealth and everything you've been getting, right? Stealing oil, getting the money, buying gold, stealing gold, uranium, silver, platinum, whatever you've been getting, you've been heaping it up for the last days, right? And the wealth of the sinner, right? And that's Esau, the biggest sinner, right? The border of wickedness is Esau. And the sinner is laid up for the just, man. The wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just, man. So all that heaping up, you did it all. You did it all for the elect's sake, man. Why do you think you took all the gold out of America? Why do you think there ain't no gold in the Fort Knox? Because the Lord's about to shoot missiles on America, man. And America's going to be an abundant wasteland, man. Yeah, so this is m.dw.com en/Venezuela. So it says DW Live TV, I guess. It says Venezuela's gold saga set to continue despite London ruling, right? So these people basically, finesse goddamn Asher down there. I don't know if that's Asher, Venezuela. I think that it might be Asher. One, but basically the Northern Kingdom, and they're putting their gold into their things, saying that they would get this amount of interest and things, and build their wealth and be able to help their country, right? And then now they got to be in so-called legal litigation over their own money, right? Over their own gold. And it says, so this is 4/8/2022. So that was this year, the beginning of this year. And then look at that building looking like Petra, man. So these are the Edomites, man. Look at that Edomite building, man. Looks just like Petra, right? It says the legal battle over 31 tons of Venezuelan's gold. So they're acknowledging that they know that it's Venezuela's gold. But you got to be in legal litigations over your own gold. Now you're in battle over your own gold. Has taken a new twist after a court in London ruled that the opposition leader Juan Guaido should be in control of it. The Maduro administration will appeal the ruling. Yeah. So it goes Juan Guaido or whatever, Guaido may have moved one step closer to the exerting control over Venezuela. So this dude I don't even think he's a Venezuelan. They're just gonna give this guy control over their gold, over control over Venezuelans almost $2 billion. So you're talking $2 billion while the people over there starving. They were saying the people starving so much that they went into the zoos to eat the animals at the zoo because they were starving that bad. And these people have their gold, have their gold that's worth $2 billion that they could feed their people with that money, man. Right? Or in I guess in the London, a pound is $1.96 billion worth in London, in the pound worth of gold reserves, but the government of Caracas is in no mood to relinquish the treasure stashed away in the vaults of the British of the Bank of England without a judicial fight. On Friday last week, decided not to recognize. So after all this shit, after you fucking convinced me, obviously you tricked them. Wouldn't have just fucking sent their fucking gold to you if they knew they were going to have to go through a legal battle, and then you were going to say you don't recognize that I'm the rightful owner of my own goddamn gold. See, but you're saying, but listen, at the end of the day, you're heaping up treasures for the last days, man. Right? That's all you're really actually doing. Because or else that gold will be over here in Venezuela, and who knows what'll happen when 200 million missiles get shot off. You know what I mean? You're heaping up treasures for the last days, man. At the end of the day. It says, Salaki, I'm getting pissed off, man. I can't even fucking read this shit. It says, it's decided not to recognize a claim on the gold by Venezuela's central bank. So they saying, hey, yeah, we know you central bank in Venezuela, but we don't recognize your claim. But we're talking about this is the bank of in Venezuela. That they have to know what's going on, that it's their gold. Man, this shit pisses you off. But yeah. This is Nahum chapter 3 verse 1. Woe to the bloody city, right? And that's mostly talking about America. But what, England? You're a bloody city too, right? Right? Because the whole thing is this is the beast system. NATO, EU, and America, man. And you're all Edomites, and you're all alike, man. Some might have a different little mannerism of how they trick you in, to lure you in, to goddamn take your gold, your silver, have sex with your wife, have sex with your sons, put you into slavery. But all of you are Edomites, and you're all the same thing. You're looking to overthrow somebody, man. Right? That's why the Lord said, never trust thy enemy, man. The Esau, Edom is our enemy. And all you niggas who love the... See? But ultimately, that's what Venezuela... You're trusting your enemy, man. You know what the self-proclaimed so-called white man has done. Just because it's the before was the white man was the Spaniard, don't mean that this white man that say he from England ain't the same type of Edomite, man. And now he's showing you. Now you in court litigations, but the litigation court is his own court. Just like they did here in America, in Virginia, in 1877 or 76, they passed a law to declare themselves white. That's the first time white people ever existed. They passed it within their own court system. But prior to 1876 or 18 something, no one's ever called this devil white. Ever. He passed his own law to call himself white. Right? So what do you think you're going to get from their court system? You're not going to get justice. You're not going to get your gold back. Because guess what? The Lord has set them up for a thing. He's heaping up treasures for the last days. What? Ultimately for the elect, man. It says, woe unto the bloody city, which is really America, mostly, but what ICBM missiles are going to get shot in strategic places around the world. It is full of lies, right? Because this is ultimately what you did to the Venezuelans. That's what you did to those Nigerians, which are Israelites, dealing with the southern and the northern kingdom, right? The prey departeth not, right? Because this is the place of prison houses, man, where you refuse to let us go, man. Right? Which is basically every place in the world, but definitely America, right? Which means bitter, man. The noise of a whip, right? Because you had us that in slavery, man. You had a noise of a whip, man. Right? And the noise of the rattling wheels, right? During the time of slavery, right? You had your what's that thing called? Stagecoach, or you had your little wagon, and you walked us during the Tale of Tears, right? And of the prancing horses, right? And the jumping chariots, right? Dealing with like Daniel said, the last days until says Daniel shut up the book until the end, will knowledge shall increase. So as knowledge increase, you have what? Jumping chariots. You got planes, cars, train. You got trains, planes, cars, right? And everybody going to and fro, basically. Real easy, man. And the horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, right? You got your military, you got what is it called? Grenade launchers, you got your ICBM missiles, you got your drones now, right? And there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses, right? Because the Lord is going to ultimately destroy your military, right? And America, in itself, it's filled with murder and death and kill. But the Lord is going to shoot ICBM missiles on America, man, and strategic places around the world. And there is none in of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses, man, because like the brother was talking about today. He was speaking about how you have all these cemeteries and places that you built this the city over the corpses of Jake, right? Like even that movie was a Poltergeist, and Poltergeist, it was about how it was a haunted Native American burial ground because you killed Gad, and then you built your city over Gad. You killed the so-called black man, which would really go back to Judah, and you built your cities over it, man. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. Woe unto him that buildeth a town with blood, man. And woe means destruction, weeping and gnashing of teeth. ICBM missiles upon you, man. Right? You know what I'm saying? Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. London, England, by iniquity. France, by iniquity. Spain, by iniquity. Right? America, you establish it by iniquity, man. Right? Behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. Behold, is it not of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity, because you're gonna be in that very fire that the Lord is gonna send, called ICBM missiles and the laser beams from the chariots, man. That's the thing you're gonna be facing real soon. You're gonna see angelic beings from the fourth dimension coming to invade your world, man. You're gonna know that there was a power amongst you. You're gonna know that the Israelites, the Lord has always loved us, man. You're gonna know that you shouldn't have never messed with the northern kingdom nor the southern kingdom, man. You're going to know that these so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians and these Israelites, Israelite foreigners, right, or strangers, or these Israelites who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel. You're going to realize that those people are who the Lord, those are the apple of the Most High's eye, man. And what happens if somebody poke you in the eye? You're going to be ready to fight. You're going to be ready to kill somebody. They poke you in the eye. And the Lord said that that's the apple of his eye. Apple of an eye is like basically talking about a treasure that's greater than the gold that you have stolen, man, that you don't want to give back. The oil that you've stolen, right? And you don't want to give it back. And then you're so-called sending out your own investigators. Somehow you're dealing with this thing in your own courts where you're going to declare yourself not guilty, right? As you always done. But you're going to labor in that very fire, man, of the ICBM missiles. And you have weary themselves and very vanity. So all that's going to be vanity when the ICBM missiles hit America and strategic places around the world. In London, England, you're going to be one of those places, man, right? For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh, right? Because it says this shall be preached and then the end shall come. So the earth has to be filled with the knowledge of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai in order for the end to come, right? Of the glory of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, as the waters cover the earth, and most of the planet is water. So now the word and the knowledge of the Lord is upon the whole entire world. Woe, which means weeping, gnashing of teeth, destruction, ICBM missiles, punishment, pain, unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, man. And you gave the so-called Native Americans drink, literally, and philosophy, the philosophies of we'll be good old neighbors, and we'll sign these treaties, and we'll let you live good, and we'll let you be, you know what I'm saying, you can keep your so-called traditions, and you could do like that, and then you kill them, and you murder them, and you send them off to these boarding schools. Same thing you did with Jake, which is the Southern Kingdom. You killed them, murdered them, say, oh, I'll give you 40 acres and a mule. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we know we did you bad, da-da-da-da. You know what? This is how we're going to do. And you never did that. You never kept any of those things that you said you were going to do, just like you did Venezuela. You promised them they were going to be able to have this money in there. It was going to be able to recruit this interest and all these different things, and they'll be able to provide for their people for a very long time, for pretty much forever. This is the lie that you gave them, man. That they were going to always be able to provide for their people if they just put it in your bank. And now they can't provide for any of their people because now they got to be in litigations with you over their possessions, man. But pretty soon you're gonna be their possession, man. Those are Israelites, and you're gonna be their possession real soon, right? It says, Salakia. I mean, yeah, you gave him drink and put thy bottle to him, right? Which is dealing with your philosophies, right? Your wicked ways. Gave it, yeah. Put thy bottle to him and make it him drunken. Also, that thus may it look upon their nakedness, right? Because now, through you putting them in boarding schools to kill, they don't know that they're the Israelites. Now, because you took Judah, and now the so-called black man don't know he's an Israelite. He's from the tribe of Judah or Benjamin or Levi, right? Or even Gad, because you mix some of the Gadites with Judah at one point in time. The ones that had more of the more Negro features, you mixed them amongst Judah, right? And basically completely took them out of their heritage that they can't even claim, so they can get so they don't have to pay taxes within their state or whatever, right? So you deal with all these different philosophies and all these different things that you have done, and make it him drunken also, that thus may it look upon his nakedness, man. So we eating shrimp, pork, crab, lobster, and then we're able to be in the ghettos, the barrios, the reservations without a clue that the Lord made the world for our sake, man, and that you're not meant to be on the horse. You're not meant to be in power, man. You're just a servant, and we're supposed to be on the horse, and you're supposed to be walking upon the ground, man. You're gonna go through that tiered trails, man, real soon, man. Thus art filled with shame for glory, right? And ultimately, that's what's gonna happen, man. Ultimately, you're all that's still in the oil and the gold and men, and then not just any men, the Israelite men, man. You stole us, right? You're gonna have thus are filled with shame for glory. So all those things that you glorified in, now all of a sudden you don't want to put slavery in the books no more, huh? Now it's it's a theory. It's a theory that we were in slavery now, huh? All them goddamn slave movies you made, now all of a sudden it's a theory. Right? Come on now. Says drink. Now you're gonna get drunk. Drink. Thus also, you're gonna drink the cup of the wrath of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Drink thus also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing, right? Shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory. Yeah? Right? Yeah, so this is Job 20 and 15. He have swallowed down, right? Well, he is what? The Edomites, man, as a nation. The self-proclaimed so-called white man as a nation, Esau, Edom, have swallowed down riches, right? Going around the world, stealing people's oil, right? Bringing in so-called your own investigators, stealing people's gold, but we got to go to your courts to go through these litigations, and you didn't have a problem when they put that gold in there. Now all of a sudden you don't recognize them, right? So you have swallowed down riches, right? And he shall vomit them up again, right? Because ultimately that's coming to the children of Yasha'Allah, man. Right? Starting with the elect. That's coming back to us, man. So you're just heaping up treasures for the last days for what? For the elect's sake, man. Ultimately. Ultimately, it's for the elect's sake. Because that treasure don't need to be over here when all them ICBM missiles are coming to this direction. Because we need that. So ultimately, you're doing us a favor, really. What you don't understand. But the Lord's still going to judge you as the devil you are, man. And Yahweh, B'Shem Yahweh Shai power, shall cast them out of his belly, man. You're not your NWO is not gonna work, man. You're gonna be cast out of his belly, man. You have no place in this world. You're gonna be Obadiah 1:18, man. So with all that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim and the four winds preaching the truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect. The elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. Shalom. Abba Ball.